Have you ever wondered if there are certain things that should never be exposed once you grow older? Not secrets that cause shame, but private matters that protect your peace and your dignity. Because the older we get, the more valuable privacy becomes. It is not only about health or money, it is about how you are seen, how you feel about yourself, and how you keep the respect that you have earned through a lifetime of experience. Let me ask you this: do you believe that oversharing can quietly take away the power you built over the years, that revealing too much can open the door for others to judge or take advantage? If that idea makes you pause, then you are in the right place. Because today, you will discover the first two private matters that should stay guarded in your later years. Each one is simple, each one is powerful, and each one can protect your dignity more than you might think. Stay with me until the end, because the second one will surprise you, and by the time we finish, you will see how protecting your story is not secrecy, it is wisdom. Let us begin. Number 1. Financial struggles. Money is one of the hardest topics to stay quiet about. It shapes our choices and our freedom. It is also the first private matter that older men and women must guard carefully, because when you reveal too much about your money, you risk losing more than dollars. You risk losing peace. Ask yourself the shave. You ever told someone about your savings or your pension and later felt uneasy? Maybe you noticed a change in how they looked at you. Maybe you heard a small request that made you uncomfortable. It happens quietly, and often in older age, money talk can turn into a silent invitation. It tells people more about your situation than they need to know, and once the words are out, they cannot be taken back. Imagine a simple chat that starts with honesty and ends with regret. You mention a loan you are paying or a shortfall in income. Simeon hears it and repeats it to another person. Suddenly, your private struggle becomes a topic for discussion. That is what happened to Harold, who was 82. When he retired, he loved talking to others and felt proud of his planning. First, he spoke openly about his savings and his accounts. Thought being transparent made him relatable, but soon the phone started ringing more than usual. There were calls about investments, people asking for advice, then requests for loans that sounded innocent but never really were. Even relatives began assuming he had more than enough to share. Slowly, Harold saw the pattern. His openness had made him a target. It stole his peace and filled his days with unwanted pressure. One day, he decided to stop talking about money in public. He kept those conversations only for his advisor and his closest family. Change was almost instant. No more questions, no more pressure, and no more discomfort. He said something wise that stayed with me. Said privacy brought him freedom. Think about that for a moment. Privacy brings freedom. The less people know about your finances, the more control you keep over your life. Money is personal when shared without boundaries. It can draw attention from those who mean well and from those who do not, but when guarded carefully, it keeps your dignity and independence. Safino, I want you to imagine this. I meet someone new. They ask how retirement is treating you. Do you reveal your income, or do you smile and say you are managing just fine? That one choice can shape how they see you from that moment on. Your money story belongs to you. You have every right to protect it, because your worth is not measured by numbers. It is measured by wisdom, strength, and experience. Before we move to the next point, ask yourself, have I ever said too much about my finances, and what did it cost me? That question alone can change the way you speak in the future. Now, let us move to something even more delicate. Number 2. Family conflicts. Every family has storms. Every family has disagreements that never fully fade, but in old age, talking about those conflicts too openly can bring more pain than peace. Have you ever vented about your children or your relatives to someone outside the family? It feels good at first. You release tension. You feel understood, but soon the story travels, and when it does, it takes on a life of its own. People repeat it. They add their own details, and before long, what was once private becomes public gossip. That is what happened to Margaret. Was 70. Nina, her sons were grown and living their own lives. They argued often about how to care for her as she aged. One day, she shared the story with her neighbors. just to explain why she was upset. She wanted empathy, not attention, but within weeks, that story spread around the community. People whispered about her. Family took sides without knowing the truth. When her sons heard what had been said, they felt hurt and embarrassed. Small venting moment became a wedge between them. Garrett later said she wished she had kept that talk within her home. Mesh realized something powerful: protecting family privacy is an act of love. Conflicts come and go, but words once spoken can stay forever. When you share family issues publicly, you hand your power to others. You give strangers the right to define your family image. There is another reason to stay private. Every time you retell a painful story, you relive it. It keeps the wound open instead of letting it heal. Instead of sharing those details widely, find one trusted persona, counselor, a close friend, a spiritual guide, someone who can listen without spreading what they harbor, because not everyone who listens is loyal, and not everyone who asks cares about your peace. When you stay private about family matters, you send a message. You tell the world that your home is sacred, that your loved ones deserve protection, even in conflict. That is strength, not silence. Let me ask you something important. If you could take back one family story that you once shared to freely, would it change how others see you today? That reflection alone is worth holding on to, because maturity is not about telling everything. It is about knowing when to stay quiet in peace. In old age often depends on what you choose not to say. So next time someone asks about a family disagreement, smile kindly and say everything is being handled. You owe no one an explanation. That small sentence can protect years of relationships. It keeps your dignity intact and your heart light. No, before we close this part, ask yourself, which of these two private matters hit closer to home? Was it money or family? And what will you guard more carefully from now on? If you found value in these insights, type the number to below in the comments to let me know you are here. Your support means a lot. Helps elderly wisdom grow and reach more people who want peace, dignity, and understanding in their later years. Stay tuned, because we will uncover 3 more private matters that most people never think about until it is too late. One of them could change how others remember you for the rest of your life. Let's begin. Number 3. Past mistakes. Do you ever think about something you did long ago and feel the urge to explain it to others? To tell your story in full so they can understand you better. It feels harmless, but there is a hidden danger there. When you open every old wound, you invite others to see you not as wise, but as broken. You turn lessons into labels, and that can quietly steal your dignity. Every person has moments they wish they could erase, but not every story must be told. There is power in privacy. You can share the wisdom you gained without describing the pain that shaped. To think about Leonard, age 85, Hughes, to tell everyone about how his business failed and how his marriage fell apart. Thought honesty would help people connect with him, but instead they pitied him. They saw the failure, not the strength. One day, he changed his approach, started sharing what he learned about resilience, about patience, about starting again. People began to admire him. They saw him as strong, not sad. That shift changed everything. It showed that your past is not your identity. It is only your teacher. You can honor your experiences without reopening the wounds. Ask yourself this: what do you want to be remembered for, your regrets or your resilience? Choose wisely. Before we move on, if you are still watching and finding value in this video, please type number 3 below. Your comments tell us you are part of this growing community of wisdom. Now let's talk about something many people struggle with. Number 4. Health struggles in detail. Do you ever notice how quickly conversations can turn into a list of aches and pains? It happens easily as we age, but here is a truth most people overlook. When you speak too much about illness, people stop seeing you. They start seeing only your ailments, and that can isolate you faster than you think. Talking about health is natural, but sharing every detail, every test, every pain turns you into your symptoms. It makes people uncomfortable or sad. Even when they care deeply, it drains the joy out of your presence. Mule, age 81, learned this lesson, loved chatting with his neighbors, but every talk became a report about his blood pressure and digestion. Soon people found reasons To stay busy felt lonely and did not understand why. Then one day, he decided to keep his health talk short, began sharing funny stories. Instead asked others about their lives. He laughed more. Within weeks his social circle came alive again. People saw his spirit, not his sickness. The message is simple: talk to your doctor or close family when you need to, but the world does not need every detail. Your light should be stronger than your pain. When people remember you, they should think of your warmth, not your wounds. If you agree with that, type number for Bella 1. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe now. Have more wisdom to share that can make your later years more peaceful and fulfilling. Now let us turn to the last private matter. This one can shape your energy, your relationships, and your peace. Number 5. Private resentments. Have you ever met someone who cannot stop talking about how others wronged them? It drains the air in the room. It also drains their own happiness. Holding onto resentment and sharing it again and again does not heal you. It hardens you. It builds walls where bridges could stand. If Ryan carries hurt from the past, but not everyone chooses to carry it forever. When you talk too much about who hurt you, you keep reliving that pain. You make it part of your identity instead of letting it fade. Helen, age 84, used to do this. Often told people how her sister betrayed her decades ago. She repeated the same story so many times that people began to avoid her. They saw her as bitter, not witty. One day she decided to let the story rest. Began talking about her garden, her faith, her gratitude. Alone, the darkness left her voice. Her friends returned. Her peace returned. Her life became lighter. Letting go of resentment does not mean you forget. It means you choose peace over poison. It means you no longer let old anger decide how you speak or who you become. Your later years can be soft, strong, and freer. They can be filled with noise from old hurts. Choice is yours. Before we finish, take a moment. Which of these 5 private matters do you find hardest to protect? Your finances, your family conflicts, your past mistakes, your health details, or your resentments? Think about that question tonight. Your answer may surprise you. Old age is not the end of your story. It is the time when your words carry more power than ever. But wisdom is not in saying everything. It is in knowing what to keep for yourself. Keep your finances guarded. Keep your family conflicts private. Hold your past mistakes with grace. Limit how much you share about your health. And most of all, let go of resentment. Be protecting these parts of your life. You protect your peace. You keep your dignity strong and your spirit light. You become the kind of person others look up to. It because you shared everything, but because you knew when silence spoke louder than words. If you found this message valuable, please like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Comment below and tell us what lesson stood out to you most today. Your thoughts help us grow this community of wisdom. Subscribe if you have not already and join us for more reflections on living well with age and grace. Until next time, stay wise, stay strong, and protect your peace.